We're here for our third segment of Greg and Dan Talk Canadian E-Logs. Today we thought we'd get together and chat a little bit about the new regulation that was just announced, which has been a long time coming, to see E-Logs regulated in Canada and implemented by June 2021.
Yes.
So Dan, what's that announcement meant from a supplier standpoint?
Yeah.
Any change?
A lot of change, actually. It's interesting. You know, you think June 2021 being so far away that, you know, there wouldn't be a lot of activity, but we're seeing people that are starting to get going and starting to ask questions and starting to prepare. I think that's probably because, you know, everybody's been anticipating it coming, but until it was announced, it's not a for sure thing. Now everybody feels comfortable. Okay, I need to do this. And some of the legwork I've done to this point, it's time to start capitalizing on that. So yeah, the activity's picked up a little bit, and I think we'll see people probably get after it a little earlier than we expect. We expect with that being June 2021.
Right. Yeah, and I think we talked about last time the amount of time it potentially takes to implement. So at least with having this date fixed now, people can feel confident about investing the time that it is going to take to find the right supplier and find the right system and move forward. So that's good. In terms of the regulation and the timeline, I mean, from my perspective, sort of being involved in the Canadian Trucking Alliance, I know from behind the scenes, a lot of this delay and the change in how long it's taking to implement is as a result of third-party certification. So Dan, I think you guys have been kind of involved a little bit in that process.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that mean to a trucking company considering ELDs?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. I think you need to understand that you're picking the right vendor at this stage, someone that will be compliant, that will go through that certification process. So I think it's really important to make it part of your criteria and your selection of your vendor. Whatever, you know, you and I talked off air, and you said it best, you know, coming from the trucking side, whatever it is that you need to do in order to get the assurances from your vendor that they're going to be compliant and go through this process, I think you need to try to do. And I think to be prudent, the vendor is going to support you through that.
Yeah, so one of the, I mean, for those that aren't really familiar with how this whole process has played out, one of the big differences between the Canadian regulation and the US regulation is this third-party certification step. The US has independent self-certification of units, which has caused all manner of issues, I think, down in the US, which we've kind of learned from, which probably is the big reason for Canada taking this step. I think it's a good reason to delay implementation. But for those that don't know, vendors that want to supply the Canadian market for ELDs, they will have to have their system vetted by a third-party certifying body to make sure that it complies. So really important from my perspective that you need to take the time to make sure that the vendor you pick is going to commit to meeting those standards. And I think you guys have started down that path.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. And I think it's hard to say, you know, who might not commit and who might fall off, and I guess time will tell. But I like the decision. I like the strategy by the Canadian government. I think it's smart. I think we learned a lot from what happened south of the border. A lot of platforms that proved not to be really good for business, and at the end of the day, that's why we're here, right? We don't build things for fun. We're building them for businesses. We need to listen to business. We need to listen to industry, and we need to listen to CTA. And I think good partners will do that.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamental reason for an ELD is to ensure that there's compliance with hours of service, hopefully reduction in fatigue, things like that. So I know that what they've experienced, from what I understand in the U.S., is a lot of ELD solutions that can either be edited, hacked, modified, and really this third-party certification process should pretty well eliminate any possibility of that in Canada. So I mean, that's, from my perspective, a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I think, you know, it's easy to sit here on camera and say that because it's the right thing to say, but it is the right thing for industry. The whole purpose of this is to make industry better. You say it all the time, make it a level playing field. So if we're going to make it a level playing field and we're going to help industry, then let's do things right. Yeah, doing the right thing is never the wrong thing. There's never a wrong time to do the right thing.
There you go. So that's it for today. My advice would be just do your research, get started on the process now that you now that we've got a date in mind, and ask the question about third-party certification and your vendor's commitment to meeting those standards. And until next time, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you again. It's really good. Thanks to everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.